Hi everyone, and welcome to March's Tech Tip. This month I am talking about different video editing tools that are right at your disposal and that come standard with your devices if you have a Windows computer or a Mac computer. So yesterday I talked about the Windows option, which is your photo editing app. But today I'm going to be talking about iMovie. And iMovie comes standard with any Mac or iOS devices, and so you have it on whether you have a laptop or an iMac or an iPad or an iPhone, any of those. So you have access to iMovie. And what's great is they kind of seamlessly all work together. So you could shoot a video on your phone and then start editing it on your phone, just kind of trimming some things, and then you can move it over to your desktop or over to your iPad. So any of the above if you work within your iCloud. So iMovie is a great thing to use. Like I said, it comes standard, so you don't have to install anything. It's free, it's intuitive, and it's easy to use, which are all the things I love to use and to share with you guys. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you just kind of a couple of tips and tricks for getting started in iMovie. Alright, so how you open iMovie, I've got it open right now, but basically what you can do the fastest way is just go to your Spotlight search, type in iMovie, and it will open up. And it's the purple star, so that's kind of how you know what it is. Alright, so I have it open here, and this is just my project window that automatically opens anytime that I start a project. So now I'm going to go to Create New, and you have the option to create a movie or a trailer. A trailer is just like something that they auto-generate for you, and you kind of have they just put it in a template and you make a short little video clip. So you can play around with that, but we're not really going to use that today. So I'm going to create my own movie. So we'll get started going there. Alright, so you guys can see a little bit better. I'm going to get rid of the webcam down here at the bottom and show you guys the screen fully. Alright, and I'll make this bigger here in a second, but I wanted to show you guys how to drag your clips into iMovie to make it easy. Alright, so I've got my iMovie presentation folder. This is where I have all my clips. So I have part 1, part 2, part 3, and an image that I want to incorporate. So these are all the things that I need. So I've got these labeled so I know which one goes where. So part 1 goes first, so I'm going to drag and drop it into the timeline down here. Now I'm going to do part 2, part 3, and we'll bring the image in and we'll use that later. That's not where it goes, but we'll use it a little bit later on. Alright, so now that I'm going to make this a little bigger so you guys can see on your screen. Alright, so what we have down here, this is our timeline. And this line right here is called a playhead. So you can drag that back and forth, and up here in this screen right here, it will show you where you are in your video. So that just makes it a lot easier to navigate. You can also zoom in or zoom out and zoom in if you need to be very detailed within a clip. So that's your options there with this little with this scroll bar right here. Alright, so another tip that I use all the time is on your keyboard. If you just want to bring your playhead, you click your mouse, bring it wherever you want to get started, and then you can just press the space bar and it will start playing. Let's see, I'll turn the sound on so you guys can hear that a little bit better. So it'll start playing right about, there we go. 2019. So there you go. Alright, so in this video, what I'm talking about is, I think around the time that I shot this video, it was the Lunar New Year, so I just made a short little video for presentation's sake on what the zodiac sign, Chinese zodiac sign is for Lunar New Year, and this year is the year of the pig. So in this video I'm just introducing what the Lunar New Year sign is. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and trim some of the dead spots that are in my video. So what I'm going to do is I think I have for each one of my videos, for almost all of them, I have dead spots in the beginning and the end. So I can kind of just scrub the playhead over, and you can see here in the preview window that I take a breath and then I start talking. And I kind of finish talking and then I hold it for a little bit and then the video clip ends. Alright, so I want to get rid of that. So a quick and easy way to do that is just make sure that the clip is highlighted that you want to alter, and you come to the beginning or the end and you basically wait for the two arrows. Let's see if I can zoom in on that real quick. You see the two arrows pointing in opposite directions. That kind of means that you are in the editing, or it's going to allow you to scrub forward. All right, so I'm going to click and drag my clip. You can see that it's getting shorter as I drag, and in the preview window it's telling me exactly what point that I'm at. So I want it to start a little bit before I start talking. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of wiggle room, mainly for the transitions that we'll add earlier. Just a little bit of wiggle room, not too much. So that's probably good because I start pretty quickly after that, but I don't want to do it right when I start talking because that can hurt the transitions later. All right, I'm going to do the exact same thing, make sure that my clip is highlighted, and I am going to drag my clip about, so let's see, this is when I stop talking, and now I'm going to drag it forward a little bit, leave a little bit of wiggle room for transitions, and I should be good. All right, so we'll see how that clip is.
Hi, my name is Katie Carnes, and Tuesday, February the 5th was Chinese New Year. Let's see what this year's Chinese zodiac sign is.
All right, so that's a good amount. Okay, so the next clip is where I type into Google and try to figure out what the zodiac sign is for Chinese New Year. So there's kind of some dead space here where I open up Chrome and I type in. So I want this process to go a little bit faster because right now this clip is 20 seconds and it could probably be way shorter than that. So I'm going to teach you another little trick. So I want it to start, let me drag my playhead. So I start typing and I open up Google right around here. So all I'm going to do is take the playhead, get it right where I want it, and then I'm going to click so that playhead is kind of in place. Now I'm going to right click without moving my mouse, and I'm going to go to split clip. So now I have split these two clips into two different ones. And what I can do is just select the one I don't want at the beginning, and I can delete it. You also don't have to worry about completely damaging the clip that you just cut because you can still go back and drag your clip a little bit forward. So it kind of saves some of that information. If you feel like you cut off too much by splitting the clip, you can still drag back and that the original clip is preserved. So you don't have to worry about losing the clip that you deleted because it's still kind of there. All right, so I started typing and then the year of the pig pops up and then there's kind of some dead space here. So I'm going to do that same thing. The year of the pig pops up and right around here I'm going to end the clip and then I'm just going to get rid of that and we should be good to go. All right, so same thing with this. I'm just going to scrub, use it this way. I start talking right, let's see, that's when I start talking, so I'll give it a little bit of room. Maybe not when my eyes are fully closed, so that's a good amount. And now, let's see, I stop talking here, I wave, smile, there we go. All right, so that's all the time that it took to trim the dead spots off. So there's two different ways to do that, so it's whatever your preference is. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is come back to this clip where I type in, and it's kind of hard to see some of the text. So what I want to do is I want to crop this this clip so that you can see a little bit better. So I'm going to select on the clip, and then I'm going to come up here to this icon, the cropping icon. I'll show it. You can see it right there. Yeah. All right. So now I'm in the crop window, and you have fit, crop to fill, or Ken Burns. So Ken Burns effect is used a lot of times in slideshows or in documentaries. If you've ever seen a Ken Burns documentary, he was the person who created this effect. Basically, it's where there's an image and you kind of slowly zoom in and out. So I would use that more if you're doing like a slideshow or something like that, but we're not going to use that right now. So I'm going to come to crop to fill, and the little bars on the side that show me how to crop are in place. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit and zoom in because you really don't need all of this. You don't need to see my whole entire desktop. So I'm just going to leave it like that and then select crop, and that's a lot better. So let's see how it is when the pig pops up, and there you go. So that way you can just, on the screen, you can see a little bit better some of that smaller text. All right, so the next thing that I am going to do is I'm going to add some transitions. So right now, when I go back and forth between my images, or between my clips, it just immediately snaps back, or it immediately snaps to the next clip. So I'm going to add a transition just to smooth that out a little bit. So I came up here to the transitions window, and you have all these different options. Some of them are pretty crazy and silly, and you can play around with them, but if it was me, the two that you really need to be concerned with are cross dissolve and fade to black. So cross dissolve I use almost always in between my clips. So I'll just show you a little bit. Actually, let me show you. So I'm going to take that away. This is what that transition looks like from clip to clip. See, it's just a quick jump. So just to make that a little bit nicer, I'll show you the transition now. So I finish, and it dissolves right into the next scene. It's just a lot smoother. So I'm going to add that to my next one, and I hopefully that also makes sense as to why you would leave a little bit of wiggle room, because it takes some of the information from either side of the clip before it starts transitioning. So you don't want to start or stop a clip right when, right exactly at the point that you stop talking. For that reason, because otherwise, see how right as it comes into screen, then I start talking. If I edit it right up close, then it would look a little bit weird that my voice would start talking as the transition is happening. So hopefully that makes sense. But like I said, cross dissolve is just a really nice thing to add in between your clips. Alright, so the next thing that I'm going to do, so I've got this little pig down here at the bottom, and I'll show you what I say in this clip. So let's listen to that real quick.
2019 is the year of the pig. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Alright, so there's a point in that video, or in that clip, where I point up and I say it was the year of the pig. So what I want to do is where I point up in this video, I want to add this image of the pig. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on it, and first I'm going to get rid of this auto-generated Ken Burns effect. So that will happen sometimes when you add a still image into iMovie. It will automatically add a Ken Burns effect. And to get rid of that, like I said, you go to the cropping window. So I'm just going to go to Fit for now, get rid of that Ken Burns effect. I'm going to click and drag this image over the clip. So what it does automatically is it just takes over the full screen. I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to click on it now, click on the pig, and come up here to this button. I'll show you, Video Overlay Settings, and I'm going to change it to Picture-in-Picture. Alright, so it put it on the wrong side of the screen, so I'm just going to click and drag it over, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And try to maintain the dimensions here, and right about there, that should be good. So I think that's a good amount. So let's see if I've got the timing right. I may have to adjust this a little bit.
2019 is the year of the...
Okay, so it looks like I'm going to move, so right around the time that my finger comes onto the screen, that's where I want the pig to come into focus. So let's see if I've got that the right time. There we go. That timing's pretty good. But I also want to get rid of it right around the time I start waving. So I'm going to scrub. So I start waving right around there and then finish pointing. Trying to get that. That should be good. Okay. So let's see how that looks.
Of the pig. Thanks for watching. Bye.
All right. I think that's perfect. Okay. So that's how you would do a picture-in-picture effect. So this could also be great if you want to do a lot of ones like this. If you're maybe doing a presentation, a history presentation, that this would be a great tool to use. That if you have a map that you're referencing to, or even if you're trying to transition your lectures that you use with a PowerPoint and with images, then you can just take those images and put them into your webcam recording to really create a lot more, a better visual for your students. So just like you would on a PowerPoint, if you had pictures on the back of your screen that you're referencing to, this could be that same effect that you could have. So that's a really, really powerful tool to have if you're transitioning from PowerPoint lectures into making your own webcam content. So this is I think that's a really, really great tool to play around with. All right, so one more thing that I want to add is, I'll show you two more things. But the first thing is, let's add a title screen, and you could add one on the end, but I think I'm just going to keep mine as it is. All right, so I'm going to come up here to this button. I'll zoom in on that, to titles, and now you have a lot of different options here. But actually, you know what? Let me work backwards here. I need to add a background first. So to have a title screen, I'm just going to choose black. I mean, you have lots of different ones. You have some of these like world globe ones. You have some curtains. There's lots of different options that you can choose. But oh, I think I clicked on that by accident. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to add in just a still screen. So then I'm going to go back up to titles and choose any of these titles, and I'm going to overlay that over the blue background. So in order to edit this, all I do is just double click on it and I get into the editing window, and I'm just going to add in Lunar New Year. So you can change the font here however you want. There's kind of simple tools. You can't do a lot, which is one thing that I don't love about iMovie, is that you're kind of stuck with some of the fonts and some of the transitions and themes when it comes to the text, but really it's not that big of a deal. And they do a pretty good job. So you can make it bold, italic, any of those. So here we go. So I have that introduction. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, Lunar New Year. All right, so now I need to add some transitions into that. So what I like to do is in the beginning and end of your videos, I usually say do fade to black. And it looks like this hurt my title a little bit, so I'm going to adjust that and see what that looks like. Okay, so the video will start off black, kind of like any movie does, and will fade into picture. Okay, so that looks pretty good. That transition to the title is maybe a little rough, so let me see how it does if it's immediately, or it's all the way in the end. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so also I'm going to add a cross dissolve, fix that transition there. Lunar New Year. There we go. I think that looks really good. I'm also going to add a fade to black at the end, so you can kind of see when I start waving, it'll fade to black. All right, so you can also adjust. Some of these have like 25 seconds or any of that. So if you want to, you can double click on the transitions and you can make them longer or shorter, just depending on what you want to do. So I think the minimum you can do is like 0.4, I want to say. So if you want your transitions a little faster, then you can do, I think 0.4 is the minimum. So it's up to you. You can play around with that and see how you like. All right, so a couple of other things that I'm going to show you is how to work a little bit with audio. All right, so I'm going to let you listen to this clip here a little bit and see, you can kind of listen and hear the loud clicking noise. And that's just kind of annoying and not really necessary. We don't really need that. So what you can do, let me zoom in a little bit on this clip so you can see. A little bit better. There we go. All right, so I'm going to click on the clip that I want to adjust the audio, and I'm going to detach the audio. And now what that does is that makes the audio separate from the clip. So I don't really need the audio, so you can either turn it down by coming to this bar in the middle and just turn it way, way, way far down, or way up if you want, and you can adjust the audio that way, or you can just get rid of it. So that's also an option for you. Another thing you can do is you can add some music. So they have, I'm under the audio tab right now, and you can add music from your iTunes or something you created from GarageBand, or you can come into sound effects, and they've actually got some pretty good ones. They've got some sound effects, some jingles, some tunes, anything like that. But I'm actually going to look for, let's see, I've done this before, so I know that Road Trip Short, that could be that's a good one for me to add, and it's just about as long as I want it to be. So I'm going to turn it down just a little bit because I don't need it to be too loud, and it's a little bit too long, so I'm just going to click and drag and do that same scrubbing that I've done before. And also you can kind of see, let's see if I can scroll in. You see that little circle? Let's see. This circle with the black dot in the middle that's kind of right by the playhead. So what that does, and I can show you guys by zooming out really quick if you can see, is I'm going to select that, and I know it's selected when those two black arrows pop up, and I'm going to drag it, and what that does is kind of add a fade in and a fade out. So I'm going to come to this other end, oopsie, and get the smaller arrows, and I've created a, let's see if you can see. Can you see that a little bit better now? There we go. And now I've added a fade in and fade out. So let's see how that sounds. All right, so that's a lot better. I'm going to turn that down just a little tiny bit. A little bit more, because you really don't have to have it on there. You can even have it be silent if you want. I mean, it's such a short clip. It's only 6 seconds long. So, also another option that you have is I'm going to show you the speed editor. So all I did was I right-clicked and went to the speed editor, and I'm going to zoom in, and you can kind of see that there's this bar up at the top. So you can go to Control, and now there's a bar with a little black, or with a gray circle. So now I have the speed editor, and all that does is if I bring it in, then I speed up the clip a little bit. So let's see how that is. Actually, I'm gonna see how that goes. The typing's just a little bit faster, or you can drag it out, and you kind of see the turtle that pops up in the middle of the clip as well. So that tells you that you are slowing it down. So now I am slowing down the process a little bit more. So that's how you can adjust the speed of a clip. Now you need to be really careful if the audio is still attached, that you're going to sound like Mickey Mouse or something like that. So you really only want to do this on clips where you've detached the audio. So that's a way that you can speed up a clip. So say, for example, if you're doing a webcast or a screen recording or something like that, and you're typing in and something takes forever to load, you could go back into iMovie later and speed up that clip so that the students don't have to sit there and wait for something to load. So that's one way that you could use that if you're doing a screen recording. All right, so I think that's pretty much all I've got to show you guys. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like from beginning to end, and we'll see if we need to add anything else.
Hi, my name is Katie Carnes, and Tuesday, February the 5th was Chinese New Year. Let's see what this year's Chinese zodiac sign is. is the year of the pig. Thanks for watching. Bye.
All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. There's only kind of one thing that I think I could maybe do is that transition's a little bit quick when I go from this clip to this clip. So I'm going to make it just a little bit longer and drag that audio. I'm also going to make that audio a little bit quieter as well, so it kind of matches the volume of my voice. All right, so that's all I've got. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to export this, and I'm going to click on Share. And I usually recommend, instead of automatically pushing it to to something else, or like to Facebook or to email or something like that, I always recommend saving it as a file first. And that way you just always have access to it. It's on your desktop, so save it as a file and then upload it to like YouTube or Facebook or whatever or to D2L, whatever you want to use that for. So I'm just going to say Lunar New Year. Oops. And you can change the description however you want. I'm just going to say test. And resolution 720p, keep that as high as you can. You can do 1080 if you want, but 720 is good. It's kind of the average. And yeah, so that should be all good. And then I'm just going to press next. Then it's going to tell me where I want to download it. I'm just going to choose the desktop for now. I'm going to save it, and it will start downloading. So there you go. So you can kind of see the download screen is happening right here. I'll zoom in on that. And it's showing you the progress. So it shouldn't take too long. In fact, my video, it's about 30 seconds. So as you can see, it's almost already done. And I just got a notification on my other screen that the export was successful. So now it is on my desktop. And let's take a look at it. There you go. And it's ready to upload. So you can kind of see, there's my video. All right, well, those are just a couple of, let me get back to my screen here. Those are just a couple of things that you can do for with iMovie right on your computer, and just a couple of quick tips and tricks. I'm going to show you here on my screen. Let me change that over. So this is the contact information for Cece and my contact information. If you ever need any help getting started, or want some help or one-on-one help creating a project or doing something new, then I'm happy to help you, or anyone here at CC is happy to help you or direct you to someone who can help you. So thanks again for watching, and hopefully we'll see you guys next month for next month's tech tip. And if you have spring break, hopefully you had a great spring break. All right, thanks.